All right, welcome back, everybody. Here we go. It's the mock draft number 5. Yeah, our league starts August 1st. Or kind of the pre-draft trading starts August 1st. Thought I'd put out another mock draft, kind of a camp reaction mock draft here. Threw out a couple keepers here that are kind of reactions to what's going on right now. Changed it up, moved some players around. Again, you'll see they'll do it through the Sleeper app like usual. The Fantasy Footballers ranking is the one you'll see on the screen. It's not necessarily the one I used all the time. I kind of flip-flop between that one and the Sleeper projections when making picks. So sometimes you'll see a bit lower pick taken on your screen, but that's just because maybe I thought should be higher up, or just maybe I thought that's who that person would draft. So there's that. So I'm gonna hop right in. So I'll get the keepers on the screen there. So you'll see for myself and Jay and Adam, I left the same. Wayne, I changed it up and went back to Josh Allen and Ladd McConkey. I don't know why, just kind of thinking that's what he might end up doing. Jen kept Burrow and Jennings. I still don't know if that's what she'll do. I think Burrow for sure. I don't know about what she'll do for her second player. Sunil I changed up with Mixon's injury. That foot injury, kind of hurt him towards the end of last year. So maybe Sunil just chooses to stay away from him completely and takes Terry McLaurin. And then I just threw Jerome Ford in there for now. Pitts would be kind of maybe sneaky, but he's still around 5 for Sunil. So I threw Jerome Ford in there, just because right now he's currently the Cleveland starting running back. So that's why I went that way. And then Richard I left the same, Ty left the same, Jeremy I left the same. Rob I switched up and put in Tank Bigsby. Sounds like he's getting a lot of work right now with the Jacksonville and first and second downs, all that kind of stuff. So just threw him in there just because he is a late round keep. Maybe it's really good value for Rob and goes with a late round running back. Dave I left the same, and then Tom and Dallas are also left the same. So not too many changes. I think this is kind of rounding out who it's going to be. I still don't know about Ty and Laporta. I'm still a little unsure of. So we'll see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks. If you did read the email, there is that thing about the draft date in there. I will send another quick one here. Be able to get that figured out. See if we can help some people out with that. And but if we can't, we can't, right? We can only do so much. There's only so many days that works for so many people. So, right, let's go. Oh, my screen. I gotta keep remembering to do that. All right. Okay. So. First overall, that's me. I'm not bluffing you guys. This is who I'm taking. The only thing that would stop me from taking him is getting hurt between now and the start of the season, or if Dallas chooses to keep him over Collins or Puka Nacua. So I am going Bijan Robinson first overall. So no surprise, taking all the find out
who's
going to go first overall in our draft, but it is going to be Bijan Robinson. Next up, with Wayne not keeping Drake London, the buddies keeping 2 running backs. I am going to have them draft Drake London. Next there, he's probably one of the top 2 receivers on the board, and I don't know, I kind of like him a little better than AJ Brown, so that's kind of why I gave him to the buddies there. So that gives him a receiver and 2 running backs. Next up is Wayne. Wayne, as I mentioned, I kept Josh Allen and Ladd McConkey. So again, thinking running back here for Wayne, no matter which way I did his keepers. Kind of looking at the board. This time I'm going to switch it up. I do think Wayne will go Barkley out of kind of who's there. I don't know why, but that's kind of my guess. So I'm going to stick with that and give Barkley to Wayne. Next up, we have Jen. Jen, as I mentioned, Joe Burrow, who I think could be a top 3 quarterback. And then Jawan Jennings, I don't know about that one. He was holding out for a bit. Maybe he was injured. Who knows what's going on over there. But I've just left it the same for now. Maybe the next mock draft I'll change it up. We'll see kind of as it goes here closer to. So for Jen, I went for the next best running back on the board in my eyes and gave her Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that gives her, a possible top 3 running back along with a top 3 quarterback. It's a pretty good start. Yeah, we'll see what she gets when it comes back around to our next round. Okay, moving on, we have Sunil. Sunil, this time I switched up. I went with McLaurin and Ford. Previously, I had said with him keeping Mixon in the 3rd that he should go running back in the 1st round. Just because with the running backs starting to get to that tier in the 3rd round, maybe if he didn't have a keeper, it'd be all right. Maybe not. So this time I went with, holy, I can't talk. I went receiver and took A.J. Brown. So for Sunil, he would have A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, and Jerome Ford to start. Then that gives him his 2 picks in the 2nd round. Maybe he goes receiver, running back. Maybe he goes 2 running backs. Maybe throws a quarterback in there. We'll wait and see. But give him A.J. Brown for now. Next up is Richard. I do think Richard will go 1 of 2 ways if this is how it is. I think he'll, it's the rookie of Ashton Genty. Does he like the new hotness, or does he go Christian McCaffrey? I mean, his team was named Run CMC for a couple years there. So is that what he's going to want to do? Does he want to bring him back? We'll see. But I am going to give him Christian McCaffrey. I think Richard's going to take the gamble. I think he likes to go risky. If McCaffrey falls, yeah, I think he'll take him. I think Richard will take Christian McCaffrey's there. So that'll give him McCaffrey, Jameson Williams, and Trey McBride. Top tight end, top running back. Jameson Williams probably a top 15 receiver by the end of the year. So it's a pretty decent start. I like that. Next up we have Ty. I have Garrett Wilson and Sam Laporta as his keepers. I don't know about Laporta, but as a 12th rounder, I mean, you can't go wrong. I don't see why they wouldn't throw the ball to him more, spread the ball out. I know there's lots of targets there, but he's still good, right? So get him on those close yardage, get him the ball more for touchdowns. What was it, Thanksgiving? He had 3 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. I would keep him around. It's worth it. Why not? And then, yeah. So for that, this is where I think Ty will take Ashton Genty. Ty likes his rookies, or at least I always think Ty likes his rookies. So here I think he'll take a rookie over taking maybe Henry or, Chase Brown or Bucky Irving kind of thing. I think he'll go Ashton Genty. He's projected to be that upper tier, kind of above all those guys. So I don't think he'd fall further than that. If it did, I think Rob would be pretty happy, but I don't think that's going to happen here. So we'll give we'll give Ashton Genty to Ty. Okay, next up would be Jeremy, and Jeremy has keeping Justin Jefferson in the 1st round. So next up we have Rob. I have keeping Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 3rd round and Tank Bigsby in 16. So top receiver, who knows where Tank Bigsby could end up. He could be a top 20 running back. He could be a top 36, right? So who knows? But maybe it's worth the risk as a 16th rounder, right? With, like I said, some of like Pacheco, who knows what's happening there. That's kind of about where he's going in the 7th round. Hawkinson, I've been keeping for him as a 13-round tight end just because there's lots of value there. But I mean, if Bigsby ends up taking the ball and running with it, right? Like 16th round value would be huge for Rob. So I think Rob's going to take the gamble. That's why I said Bigsby. So given that, Gavin, Bigsby and Amon-Ra, I think Rob will kind of go with a good steady running back just because he is still, in my mind, a little bit higher tier than some of these younger guys in the next group here. So I think Rob will take Derrick Henry. Take the Yeti himself, right? He's going to get 1,500 yards. He'll probably end up with 15 touchdowns. So why not take him, right? Okay. Next up, we have Dave. Dave has Neighbors and Chuba Hubbard as a keeper in the 10th round. Again, gives him the option to go either way. He doesn't have a pick next round, so I think for him, maybe going running back here is a smarter play. He can wait for it to come around in the 3rd round. There's probably a good chunk of receivers in there. As quarterbacks, tight ends start to figure in here a little bit more, push some of those receivers down. There'll be probably a run on running backs, or those rookie running backs kind of push those receivers down. So I think Dave's move here is to go running back. For me, the two guys I was going back and forth on were Chase Brown and Bucky Irving. I do like both guys, but I do like Chase Brown that much more. And I think Dave's the type of fantasy player that would like Chase Brown more as well. So that is why I gave Dave Chase Brown. So that would give him Chase Brown, Malik Neighbors, and Chuba Hubbard. It's a pretty good start with 3 players in. Yeah, just like I said, it's Dave. Chase Brown seems more of a Dave pick than a Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, who knows? Excuse me. So that comes up to, sorry, just laughing because of who I gave Bucky Irving to. Next up, we have Tom, and Tom is keeping CeeDee Lamb in the 1st round. I just think if he didn't keep him, he wouldn't fall to him, and then kind of the receivers that would be in that category, CeeDee Lamb is that little bit tier above. So I do think it is a smart move for Tom to keep him in the 1st. And then, as I said, currently I got him keeping James Conner in the 5th, just to kind of give him a running back. He's probably still going to take about 75% of the carries there. So I think it is a smart move. He might go receiver, seeing kind of who the running backs here are falling. Would be available to him in the 2nd round. So he might change it up. We'll see. So that means we're on to Dallas. So Dallas has got 2 picks here back to back. Him and I've been talking lots lately, just at the rink about, with both of us being on either end, like kind of different, we probably have a similar theories, but we could take in different players, opposite ends, right? So kind of that theory of, are we reaching for guys? Are we taking guys we like just because we know they're not going to come back around? Just take the best player available no matter what position he's playing, those kind of theories. So given that kind of thought process and kind of who the next kind of tier of players are, I do think in one of these 2 picks, he could surprise me on which one it's going to be. I think he's going to take Lamar Jackson. I think he's looking at it. He is the best quarterback on the board. Burrow and Josh Allen are already taken. Lamar has a chance of being the number 1, possibly number 3 at worst quarterback. If he waits till the 3rd round, maybe he's looking at Bo Nix, Mahomes kind of player. So maybe he likes the option of going like that steady Lamar, gets the rushing yards in there, goes that way. So I think he's going to take Lamar. And then for his next pick, just kind of looking at the board, now he's got Puka, Nico, and Lamar. I think kind of the next grouping of running backs aren't guys he likes. Like I don't think he likes Josh Jacobs, Kamara, Taylor, Breece Hall, that kind of guy. So I do think he will take Bucky Irving as his 1st pick of the 2nd round. So I'll take a little pause and we'll run through the 1st round picks. We're doing okay for time. I'm going to try to keep it around that 20 to 25 minutes. So quickly running through, I took Bijan Robinson number 1. The buddies Jay and Adam took Drake London number 2. Wayne took Barkley at 3. Jen went Jahmyr Gibbs. Sunil, AJ Brown. Richard with Christian McCaffrey. Ty had Ashton Genty. Jeremy was keeping Justin Jefferson. Rob went Derrick Henry. Dave, I'm going with Chase Brown. Tom, again, was keeping CeeDee Lamb. And Dallas, with kind of a surprise pick, is going Lamar Jackson. So, so moving on to round 2, as I mentioned, Dallas was taking Bucky Irving. So that moves us on to Tom. So Tom has CeeDee Lamb and James Conner as his keepers. So this is his first pick, and I think, again, Tom's not a big fan of Jacobs or Kamara. I'm not sure. His thoughts could be there. I just think they're older running backs. Maybe he doesn't want to go that way. Maybe he's not into kind of these Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, James Cook kind of guys. Maybe it's a little too early to take a rookie running back. So I do think he'll go receiver. I am going to kind of throw this one a little bit off the board kind of pick. I don't know. Tyreek Hill's lost some weight. You hear him apologizing. He's saying all the right things. Yeah, so I think Tom's going to take the risk and go with Tyreek Hill. Why not change it up, see what that does to the board? I think he has a chance of being a top receiver. So, top 10, maybe top 15 for sure. So he's not going to be really too different in a points range of a JSN or an Adams or, Marvin Harrison or something. So I think Tom's going to take that chance and go with Tyreek Hill. Next up, we have Dave keeping Malik Neighbors, which brings us back around to Rob. So as we remember, Rob, I gave Derrick Henry, and then he was keeping Amon-Ra and Tank Bigsby. So with Rob, you can go any direction. If you wanted to throw a quarterback in here, we're starting to kind of get those top tier guys done. Does he want to, jump to Jane Daniels, Jalen Hurts? Does he like those guys? This is kind of in your real drafts, kind of where they're going, that second, third round. So maybe he's looking that way, or maybe he's thinking he's got to get another receiver since he's got Amon-Ra in the next round. And that's what I did. I went receiver, and I went with a high-powered offense for him and gave him T. Higgins. If anything ever happened to Chase, we all know what Higgins could be, depending on what team they're playing. Sometimes Jamar Chase gets all the coverage, so Higgins is going to be a little bit more open. So I think there's a good chance he could be not a top 5, but definitely a top 10 receiver if everything goes right for him. Next up, we have Jeremy. I had keep Justin Jefferson in the first round, and then Brock Bowers in the 9th round. So right there, you got a top 1, 2, maybe 3 at worst for either guy in their position. The running backs are starting to get a little thin. So does he go that way? The receivers are still some top guys here, but does he want to wait a whole nother round for a running back? Maybe he does. That's up to him. That kind of puts him close to a 0 RB strategy, but maybe Jeremy's up for that this year. I don't know, but I am going to give him a running back, and I am going to go Josh Jacobs. No other reason than I think he's kind of that top 1 or 2 guys, maybe top 3 guys left. A little bit more steady in Green Bay. They should be a higher powered offense this year if Love's a little bit more healthy than last year. Adding Golden maybe helps spread it out, maybe create some running lanes for Jacobs. We'll see. So I think that could be a little sneaky pick there for Jeremy. And we'll see what that does. What's up next? We got Ty. Ty is up next. As you remember, I took Ashton Genty for him in the last round, and then Garrett Wilson, Sam Laporta. So I think he's going to go receiver. He's got a top running back. I think Laporta's going to surprise some people, get a little bit of a rebound here. I think that's why I keep giving him to Ty. But I think Ty will go receiver. I think he'll look at a couple guys. I think the 2 kind of guys here at the decision would be Marvin Harrison or JSN. You could throw Evans and Adams in there. I don't really like those 2 guys, even though they are steady, proven veterans. I do think they are that little bit step slower. For Adams, you got Stafford's a little bit slower and older. Mike Evans, we got Godwin there. They just drafted a receiver. So you never know. So I think for Ty, I think he's going to go more steady quarterback in Darnold and go with JSN. So I will give him to Ty, And then it gives him a good start. Like I said, Garrett Wilson, JSN, Genty, and Laporta. So next up is Sunil, his 2 picks. The one he traded with Richard last year for Richard to get AJ Brown to hopefully make him make a playoff run. But unfortunately, the first round didn't go his way. So yeah, so Sunil has 2 picks here. I think he's going to take 1 running back and 1 receiver. So first off, I did give him a receiver. I was kind of going down the line when I was inputting it into Sleeper and just clicked him in without thinking about it. So that's what I'm going to say is his first pick is Marvin Harrison Jr. You'll look at him, he's kind of that, like I said, that younger top receiver left. I do think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think some of the issues was he was a rookie. Everybody expected him to be great. We drafted him to be great. But now he's year 2. He's got Kyler Murray. Hopefully he's stays healthy, spreads the ball around. We'll see. I think he could have a good year. Do I think he's a, top 15? Probably borderline top 15 receiver. So I think it's a smart pick here, but that's about what you're getting in the second round. I followed that up, who I think is the next kind of running back left in the group. There was guys like Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, James Cook in this section. But for Sunil, I went with kind of the more steady hand. I think this team's going to have some quarterback issues. And as a result, they'll have to lean on him a little bit more. And that's why I went with Jonathan Taylor. So I gave Jonathan Taylor to Sunil. As I said, it's a little bit more steady of a running back. If he stays healthy, I think he'd easily be top 10, top 12 in that category. And that would be a pretty good pick there for Sunil. All right, moving on to Jen. Jen's up next. She drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. Her keepers were Joe Burrow and Juwan Jennings. As I said, we got Burrow, could be a top 3. We got Gibbs, could be top 3. So she's got a good start there. I think if she can get a good solid receiver here, there's a good chance she's going to get a really good kind of that top 15 receiver in the next round, just because there's not too many picks to her. So I think with her, she'll take a receiver who I mentioned I'm not a big fan of, but I think I keep drafting for her here. I don't know if it's because he played for the Packers and she loves the Packers, but that is why I am giving Jen Devonta Adams again. Okay. There's no other reason. I just think she'll go that route. You got Stafford, good quarterback. The team's always in the playoff hunt. They lost Cooper Kupp. He can step right in, get all those targets, and why not? Next up, we have Wayne. Wayne kept Saquon Barkley. No, he did not. He drafted Saquon Barkley in the first round. And then he kept Josh Allen and Ladd McConkey. Sorry, Barkley was on Wayne's team last year, so that's why it was in my head there. So that's how Wayne went. And I think he's kind of looking at the receiver board here. I think, in my opinion, the receiver I'm giving him here is kind of the end of the tier. The next group of guys here, like DJ Moore, Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Waddle, Zay Flowers, Chris Godwin, Jacoby Myers. It's kind of the end of it. I think they're all relatively close to each other, maybe 10 points at the end of the year, kind of separate, but I think they're all going to get the same kind of points. So I think the guy who's just a little bit above that is old reliable Mike Evans. So I'll give Mike Evans to Wayne, and that would give him Barkley, Allen, and McConkey. So a pretty good start there. A couple of good receivers, good running back, and top level quarterback. Moving on to the buddies, Jay and Adam. So they drafted Drake London last round and kept Devon Achane and Kyron Williams. So again, I don't think they're going to go running back here. The running backs are starting to kind of, quote unquote, dry up into that, ugly round of running backs of which one do you take? Do you really like a guy? You're taking a chance. You're hoping, you're praying these guys turn out. But you never know. So I do think they will go receiver. Kind of all those guys I mentioned, in my mind, your top three are your DJ Moore, your Devonta Smith, your Jalen Waddle. Pick and choose which guy you like most. I think the buddies are going to go with DJ Moore. I think he's got a little bit more upside. Devonta Smith is kind of the wide receiver 2. Waddle's a receiver 2. DJ Moore could easily be the number 1 receiver on Chicago. So I think that might push it a little bit towards the buddies' way. And then lastly are my picks. First pick of the last pick here of the second round and first pick of the third round. So I will give you both picks again, kind of go with what I'm thinking. Last time I did the mock draft, I went 2 receivers. I did kind of like how that looked, having, that strong 3 receivers filled, that first flex spot filled, and a top running back in the running back spot. But I was thinking, as I said with Dallas, this thought process of being on the ends, reaching for players you like, taking those chances. I kind of went with the same thought process because, that's how you got to play the end. So I didn't want to wait on quarterback any longer. Last year I took a quarterback early. Nobody else took any for a long time, but I do think there are only a few top quarterbacks left, and I wanted a piece of it. So I went with Jaden Daniels as my last pick of the second round. I do think he's got the potential to be top 1 or 2, maybe 4 at worst. So if I can get him here, and then by the time it comes back to me at the 4-5 turn, I can just kind of pick some positional players, see what's fallen as the other quarterbacks and tight ends get filled in. And then just for, the typical bonus coverage I like to give, who I would pick in the third round. I kind of hemmed and hawed on this one. I do like guys like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. I took them last year, maybe a year too early. They weren't quite ready to be who I thought they could be. And so I was really tempted to go that route again. That would give me 3 top receivers, a top running back, and a top quarterback. But instead, I wanted to reach for a player I liked because he would not probably be there on the turn of the 4-5. So I'm going to kind of dig deep in the running back pool there and take the guy I like, and I am going with Omarion Hampton. So I did take him in an earlier mock draft that we did, and I do think that might be the way I go. I just kind of like the young rookie running back there. If he turns out, I can't keep Chase, so maybe he ends up being a keeper there. Brian Thomas Jr. in round 7 for next year. Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm not going to run down through the whole list. We're already about 28 minutes in. Went a little bit longer than I had hoped. So it is on your screen. Hopefully you enjoyed the video this time. And have a great August long weekend. And we'll talk soon. Bye.